here shuts it off.
We tried that, but the light still was on, so we just unplugged it. That
That's
got
what our
it
heavy duty is. None of these are the same, are they? Make sure to introduce yourselves again so we got it on tape and
You can introduce us. This is interviewer.
Okay. I'm Angela Price, and this is Brandon Jones, and that's the overture. And got a couple questions for you, and feel free to elaborate as much as you want to on it. And first question is, as the U.S. approached the involvement in the war, what were your feelings about the country's participation?
Well, I was in high school when it first started. Really didn't have much thought on that situation at the time, but as I grew closer to the draft age, you know, there's a little bit of concern. You know, I was in college, flunked out of college, and ended up in a job and got drafted. Went over to serve my country, which I thought was a good deal at the time, but now I'm not so sure.
Yeah. So at that time, you're pretty much, I mean, I wouldn't say gung-ho, but I mean, pretty much.
No, I would rather stay at home like anybody else, but you know, you got drafted, you either went or you went to Canada, one of the two at the time.
Okay, and what do you think the mood or the feeling of the country was about the participation in the war?
I think the country, all that they really seen at the time, the ones that didn't have people involved, it was good for the economy.
Did you see any of the protests or were you?
Yes, I did when I come back to the States.
But you didn't see it before you left?
No, on TV, you know, nothing locally here. You know, there things here were kind of laid back. You just went, got on the bus, they took you for your indoctrination, you went to wherever you took your train, and then from there you went over.
What about your family?
Well, of course they didn't want to see me go. You know, there's always a possibility you would get killed and stuff. And it's hard on anyone.
Okay. After we began the war and the war progressed, how did you feel about it then?
Well, I went in probably in '68 is when I went to service. It was the middle of the war. It was escalating quite a bit at the time. That's when all the protests were starting. A lot of people didn't think we should be there, which maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. Who knows? You know, we will never know all the feelings that was coming from our government, what they wanted, what is hid from us. You know, even activities I was involved in were hid from our people. We weren't told what was going on, so we did not really know the general public.
What's your most vivid memory about the war?
Well, I have a lot of memories, good and bad. You know, some were very enjoyable, some were not so enjoyable. But nothing really stands out.
What were some of those memories?
Well, I just like when we first went over, you know, it was a different country. I was used to being able to drive in a car and this and that. You were hauled everywhere you went. The country stunk. Pulled in, it smelled like kind of like garbage burning and one of the outhouses at Wren Lake all combined together. Basically, to give you the, you know, what it really smelled like when you first went there. After a while, you didn't notice it.
Yeah,
it was just there, right? And then I spent a lot of time in the mountains over there, and it was a beautiful, beautiful country over there. You know, shame that it had happened, but it happened.
Did you see any action?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any memories about that? Or
Yeah. Some good, some bad.
care to share any?
Well, I don't know, what are you looking for exactly?
Did you mention anything?
Interesting. Well, I was in a couple bigger battles, one they made a movie of, Hamburger Hill. I was there. Seen a lot of guys lose their lives there for what I feel now was nothing. It was just a place for us to, I guess, dump a lot of junk we had left over from World War II, and a lot of places to dump our waste that we had at the time, which turned out to be Agent Orange, and was dumped on that country and dumped on our people over there. And there were people in the food, which I feel was totally wrong there, which there's nothing I can do about it, nothing you can do about it today, but I don't think our government at the time really let us know what was going on and why they were doing things. They just told You know, today I have 2 boys, as most of you know, and if they want to go to Canada to get away from the draft, if it ever come back in, I would send them. And I was there. I can say that. A lot of people can't say that. But I know people that went to Canada and they come back and they're probably doing better than I am today.
Like, whenever you went, and did you have any civilian interaction, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a lot of that. I've got a little hat over there. You would talk to the village people down south. When I first went there, it was down south, and it was all open. You could go wherever you wanted to go, do what you wanted to do in the daylight hours, you know, after a certain time. And then after that, you would, you know, the night was closed. Now I went up north and everything was closed off up there, but you still had some interaction with the civilian people. We went through several sweeps of villages and stuff. You'd go in and search for weapons and caches of rice and stuff they weren't supposed to have, and you know, you'd remove it if it was there. And you go through a person's, what they call the home, which was nothing but a dirt floor and some reeds put up for a house. If they were lucky, they had some animal boxes and stuff they had got from our leftovers or junk and built their own home out of that stuff.
Tell us about that right there.
That there come off of a little lady walking down the road. We were riding in a deuce and a half, and one of the guys leaned over and grabbed it off her head. That's just, you know, we weren't good to the people there at times. You know, it was just, it was a total different, you know, just more or less the hatred, you know, from racial hatred, I can say. They were Vietnamese, and to us, they were kind of not doing what they were supposed to do to win their war. We were doing it all for them, and we just, you know, took advantage of things. It wasn't the way you should be. It should be totally different than what it is, you know. It wasn't love thy neighbor. They weren't our neighbors, basically. They were, you know, somewhat our enemy to, you know, to the troops, you know. You hear how good things were. It wasn't that good. We were trying to get along with it, but we were stuck over there. We didn't want to be there. They didn't want us there, so here we were.
Did you see a lot of questionable things going on? Like,
Drugs, is that what you're in
yeah,
there?
and then also with just like the villagers and stuff like that.
Oh
like,
yeah, there was
a
black market. There was drugs anywhere you wanted them, any kind of drugs you wanted that were available at the time. You could get there. You could take different items like SP packs, which were packs full of soap, cigarettes, candy and stuff like that that you would use normally every day that you consider an everyday thing that was sent out to the troops in the field. You could take those down town and sell those for $100 just like that with no problem. A lot of graft in the higher up ARPAN forces and stuff. They would, you know, the people would steal anything you had because they didn't have anything. I'm talking of a very poor nation. There was nothing there. There was the rich and there was the poor, and there was no middle class to what we're used to. Things that we take for granted they never had.
How do you think the country treated you and the other servicemen when you came home?
Well, you know, they classified a lot of us as baby killers and stuff. I never seen any babies out in the jungle where I was at. It was all the people, the locals were all moved out away from the hills and stuff. And like I say, I was in the mountains around Ashaw Valley. There was no friendlies living out there. And so how can you classify a guy that's out there as a baby killer when he's not around, you know? That was one of the things a lot of guys feared when they come home, was coming back through Oakland, California, or New Jersey, of being faced with the protesters and stuff. They would throw whatever they could get in a bag at you. They didn't care. It didn't make any difference. I luckily come in the middle of the night and didn't have to face that. When I come back to this country, it changed totally around. Drugs, when I left here in '68, drugs were very seldom in the area. When I come back in '70, the drugs were everywhere. You know, just in a year's time, it was totally flip-flopped. The morals of people had went down. I watched the young lady. She was coming back from Hawaii, and some of the troops were there. This is 4 o'clock in the morning at the LA airport. She had sex with a guy for his raincoat. That's all she had her clothes lost, and all she had was a bikini on. And just, you know, it's total change from what I was used to. You know, the country's morals in the United States went down. And I think all of it has something to do with the war at the time. Our country just went to pieces. Our leaders weren't there to lead us like they should have. Just totally downhill.
What was it like in the mountains? I mean,
It was jungle. You could see for about 30 or 40 yards to most places. Very quiet. You didn't see birds or anything like that move like you would here. There'd been so much bombs and stuff that the birds would hop instead of fly. They wouldn't get up and fly. It was totally, you know, you'd have monkeys, lions, tigers up in the mountains. You could see trees. Now, I've never seen a tiger personally. I'd heard of it, but I'd never seen one. They would scratch the trees totally to pieces. It was just, you had your leeches and your mosquitoes when you got down the valleys. They were everywhere. Centipedes. You have in the morning, you have to shake your clothes out to get the centipedes out.
what was the weather like, really?
It was hot most of the time. And in monsoon season, you had to rain. It rained for 30 days straight. Just, you couldn't get in, you couldn't get out. You was up in the mountains, you were stuck in.
This picture.
Okay, that picture come off of the NVA soldier that just come across the line. He was in the 29th Regiment. It's a picture of Ho Chi Minh. Everyone in the regiment had a picture of him. Evidently, when they had left, he had given some kind of big talk or something, and just about every soldier that we took anything off of had these pictures on at the time.
I guess some of the money.
That's South Vietnamese money. The one on the top, the one on the bottom. The one in the middle is the military payment script, which was issued over there instead of greenbacks. You didn't have any greenbacks, you didn't have any change. It was all money that could not be used anywhere to get silver for anything. It's basically what they did. Because at the time it was a lot of silver certificates. While I was over, the money was changed 3 times to keep money out of the enemy's hands and stuff, where they could control the money over there. That way we weren't fighting our own money. But they changed, like I say, 3 times while I was over there in a year's period. And that was the most they ever changed at any time that I knew of. Why, I don't know. It's beyond me, but that's what they did. That is a quarter there that you'd be used to there. And then the other is, like I say, Vietnamese money. It's 20 piastres and 100 piastres. And don't ask me what it's worth today in our money, because it's South Vietnamese money is no longer any good, I don't guess.
Do you know how much it was worth then? Like,
Very little. Probably 100 piastres, like a penny to you.
so the 20 after.
Was nothing, but to them it was something. You know, in our time frame, like I say, money over there, the value of it, you can come out way ahead.
Tell us about some of this.
The one is the yearbook, 1969, of 101st Airborne Division, which was what I was in. I was an engineer with 326 B Company. I was assigned to all different infantry outfits. I was a demolition specialist. I would blow LZs, dud rounds I'd blow up. Any bunkers or caves or anything like that, we'd blow those up also.
What's this?
Those are some pictures that I had taken while I was over there. Just various pictures, whatever was around.
When you had time off, what did you do?
You sit around. Usually the evenings were always off. You'd work 7 days a week, basically. In the evenings, if you were in base camp, you'd sit around, shoot the bull, drink beer, whatever you wanted to do.
Relax.
Yes. If you were out on a mission somewhere, you would be on guard duty. You'd change off periodically through the night. You know, like, it all depends on what kind of shift you wanted to take. If you wanted an hour, 2 hour increments, in 2 hours, you would wake your buddy up and he'd sit up and look out into the jungle. You couldn't see hardly anything, but you know, you'd look out just in case someone was coming in. The first 6 months I was over there, it was like walking out in the middle of the woods out here and camping. I seen nothing, and then after the monsoon season, everything hit us.
Did you make a lot of friends?
Yeah, I had, like I say, I was with a different unit every 30 days, basically, and don't stay in touch with too many of them, but I do stay in touch with you. But you see people from all over the country, you know. You've got your city people, your country folks, north people, south people.
Yeah.
You've got just this whole mixture. Totally, you know, like kind of like going to college and stuff. You get people from all over the country. You know, some you like, some you don't. You just have to mix in with it.
Yes.
That's a dog hair wallet made out of a dog. They made and sold. I had several of those, and that's just one I kept, threw back. They'd sell it to you, that'd cost you probably 50 cents. Something like that. It would, like I say, they made everything. They'd take any kind of junk, anything you wanted to use. That's a field manual of the engineer handbook. Basically, it shows you how to build bridges, set up explosives, tanglefoot, which was a type of a trip deal where if you run through it, you'd fall on it. It was made out of barbed wire. Just
Kind of like traps and
yeah,
stuff like that.
defensive type deals where if somebody was coming at you, it'd slow them down a little bit. That
Looks like it has some.
don't ask me what it says. I can't read it either. It's a waterproof pouch. They would carry like their dressings for wounds and stuff in there. The picture of Ho Chi Minh come out of this one. That's why I saved it. It was in that. That is a steel pot. I think the liner's down on the ground. If you'd like to try it on, you'd kind of see the difference in that football helmet. Quite a bit of weight to carry on your head.
Yeah.
Let Angela try it on. This will be a good
You
one.
could go with that.
If you ever want to go to the Army, you'll change your mind now.
And that's not my hair.
Looks
Yes.
good on you.
But that was to protect you from shrapnel. A bullet wouldn't be stopped, but that would go right through it. The fact is, I seen a gentleman get shot right through the head with a steel pot on.
Some of your,
That's when I was with the recon outfit. That's what they wore then. It was the camouflage that was issued at the time. And then the other was kind of regular troops were issued the other type fatigues to wear. They're kind of lightweight for jungle wear, that all long sleeves so you could roll them down at night where you didn't have the mosquitoes biting you and stuff. Rip stop, all of it was what they went to after a while. You hook it on a bra or something, it wouldn't rip, or on barbed wire or something like that. It can stay together where other stuff would fall apart.
Did you get hurt or anything over there?
I got hit with a piece of shrapnel from one of our own bombs. We had to call airstrike in close on us to keep them off of us. Never was shot or anything like that, just a piece of shrapnel.
Didn't do anything?
Cut my thumb up a little bit, they thought it was broken. Never went in for it, so.
Are there any lasting perceptions about the war you'd like to share?
I think it was a total mess that we shouldn't have been there. Other than that, you know, there was a lot of people who lost their life over there for no money. It was a big root of the evil, I guess, when you right down to it. All, you know, it kept a lot of people working, you know. It looked good for our government at the time. Now, when you look back, it wasn't too good for our government.
Class got questions? We'll go back down. Thanks for your
Thank you very
time.
much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.